Some weeks ago I went to an auction and I ended up getting 2 camera lots. One of which had this OM2. Now I have done an OM2 video a long time ago, but I haven't done an OM2 program, and I didn't quite realise how different the OM2 program is to the original OM2. The OM1 came out, I think, about 1976, maybe a little bit earlier, and it was a fantastic camera, and it was very cherished by professionals. It was a manual camera with a little meter in the middle, and it was followed by the OM2, which had aperture priority on it as well, which was very useful. And later came the OM2 program, which has a program mode in it as well, and instead of the manual lever, it's got a more sophisticated LED display. So nice and easy to open the camera. You simply do what a lot of cameras do, and you simply pop your film in there and put the leader over here and wind on. So on manual, I simply so I've got the lever on manual here. If I'm using the camera in manual, the shutter speeds, differently to a lot of cameras, but similar to the original Nikomats, the shutter speed is on the lens here. And the great thing about this was, as a user, you can, when you're using the camera, you've got shutter speed there, aperture there. You can control it all by one hand. So we've got a sort of mock-up lever LED display, and you basically fit your shutter speed and aperture until you get a level reading. So that is on manual. Now, when it says auto, what it actually means is aperture priority. So if you put the camera on auto, you set the aperture to what you want, very much according to depth of field property. If you want a narrow depth of field, you will put the aperture to something like f16. If you're doing portraiture, you might put it to 3.5, and the camera will select the shutter speed, which you will see through the dots line up to what the shutter speed is. We haven't got much light here, so I'm on, it's saying an eighth of a second or even a quarter of a second at the moment in here. So that is aperture. That is aperture mode here, and then we have program. And to use program, you have to put the aperture to the smallest aperture, f22 here, and the camera will work out the ideal shutter speed and aperture for the situation. We also have a battery test there, and when we do the battery test, we get a little beep, and we also see a little indicator there. Winding back the film, the rewind gear is here, clutch, so you need to press that and then wind the film back. So this is a very neat and tidy OM2 program. I'm looking forward to, oh, the ISO setting was on the top there. Let's see, in spite of the lens, whether this camera produced any decent images. This camera actually performed very well. The metering, as on the original OM1, I think it's very good. From my memory, it's a slightly unusual type of metering, but it does seem to work really effectively. And the lens wasn't as bad, again, as I thought it might have been. I had the light conditions could have been better. Well, in one sense it was lovely because it was early evening, but the light did fade very quickly. But I was actually very pleased with how the camera worked. I tried it on program mode, I tried it on automatic mode, and I did a couple of photos on manual. It is a nice camera. Again, as I said previously, it could do with a better lens, but the OM2 Spot program is definitely a camera that if you can find a good one, I think it's a very excellent camera to use as a 35mm single lens reflex camera. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.